Time for some win and in magic. Let's put our first player into the top 8 here in round number 14. Let's take a peek at who will be watching the feature match area. None other than Shuhei Nakamura up against Justin Schabel. This is it Affinity versus Is It Prowess? Both players, of course, on 11 and 2. Shuhei Nakamura, just an incredible Magic player. He's been playing the game for forever. Has 6 Pro Tour top 8s to his name, but no Pro Tour wins. Wants to change that this weekend with his very, very impressive Affinity build. Have to get through Justin Schabel to lock up a spot in the top 8 to do it, though. This is Justin's second Pro Tour after going 8 and 8 at Pro Tour Final Fantasy. Rattle off 7 in a row at an RSA to qualify for this weekend. Season goal, make a top 8. Could achieve that coming up here in just a few minutes. So we'll see if he can do it. What about this matchup, Corey?
Yeah, let's take a look at the deck, starting with Shuhei's list. Shuhei has not lost in Constructed yet. The 2 losses were in Limited earlier today, and this is kind of the deck of the tournament so far. This is it Affinity playing the new hotness, Claws of Gix, and Weapons Manufacturing. You are trying to get out a Kappa Cannoneer extremely fast. Pinnacle Emissary helps kind of crank that out as fast as possible. Not a ton of interaction. You have Metallic Rebukes, which are going to be okay, but not amazing here. And then that Shadow Sphere is probably going to be the most important card. If you can ever strap that up, it's going to give you a lot of breathing room up against the Is It Prowess list here of Justin. So let's take a look at Justin's list here. Trying to play and get Shuhei dead as fast as possible with Slick Shot Show Off, Tory Steel Cutter, different prowess effects, and lightning bolts to the face. Now, both of these decks are kind of 2 ships passing in the night. Justin has a little bit more interaction when it comes to lightning bolts and lava darts, but the interaction doesn't line up that well. You know, you're never killing a Kappa Cannoneer with any of that, I'll tell you that, unless you just have a spare, you know, 8 mana laying
million
around.
Mana, yeah.
Exactly, 1 million, I believe.
Who
is
gave
the
that
correct
thing
amount.
so much ward?
I do not know, but it's really going to be a matchup where the die roll is going to be very, very important here.
All right, well, let's find out what happens. It's time to put our first player into the top 8. We'll slide into the DMs of Riley and Cedric here with round number 14.
Thanks very much, Maria. Good to be with you here from the booth. Riley and I joined by Cedric Phillips, and we're going to head down to our feature match area to get stuck into this match that's just been previewed. It's winning in Magic.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't get much, well, it gets a lot better than that, actually, because there's top 8 Magic coming up.
Tomorrow.
But today,
yes,
it doesn't get much better than this. Winning in Magic, the magic number for these players, 12 wins. Whoever wins this match that we're about to see, Cedric, locks up a slot in the top 8 and will be the first player to do so. So it's a big deal what we're about to see on the screen.
You know it is. This is the goal for every player that came here this week, and I know folks have modest goals of wanting to make day 2 and not embarrassing themselves in draft, but ultimately when you come to play in a Pro Tour, you want to make top 8 of a Pro Tour, and one of these players is going to do so. Shuhei, well, he has done it before, and presumably he will do it again. Maybe this weekend. We will see. And for Justin, this is the fun one, right? Because qualified with Is It for this tournament. Deck that he loves, has been playing through and through. One of the few players playing it here this weekend and is having a beautiful performance with this take on Is It Prowess. So a little surprising that coming into the weekend, we were expecting Goryo's Vengeance, we were expecting Belcher. We didn't really talk a lot about Is It strategies, and 2 of them are at the top of the standings here.
Yes, exactly right. And there's something here for us to explore when it comes to Justin Schabel and his deck choice. Modern has often been touted as a format where you can really go deep on an archetype, right?
Sure.
Presuming, as long as you pick one that is going to be able to stand the test of time, like you have to pick a good deck.
Yes.
But if you do, you can develop such expertise with it that even if it isn't the best deck in the room, the best deck in the format, the best deck at any given time, just the number of reps, the number of hours you've got playing the list, knowing its intricacies, knowing which cards to bring in post-board, all that sort of thing, can make a huge difference. And we're seeing the proof positive of that is the fact that this fella here, Justin Schabel, is playing this deck that has caught a lot of us by surprise and playing it extremely well at X&2.
Yeah, this is a deck that he's been playing for a very long time, as we did mention. He's very happy registering this deck and playing this deck here this weekend. And now this is kind of all of the work coming to fruition now. If I can just get one more match win, I'm going to make it into the top 8 of a Pro Tour, which is such a big deal for any Magic player's career. It's a very tough road to hoe, though, because 1, you're playing against a Magic Hall of Famer who has been here and done this before, and 2, said Magic Hall of Famer may have the best deck in the room.
Yeah, this was the big call that you made yesterday. The fact that Shuhei Nakamura may have actually brought the best 75 out of anyone playing. We've seen Is It Affinity in the hands of a couple of different players. We've seen lists that are I don't know. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but they're sort of stock lists.
Yeah, they're more
right?
traditional.
More traditional, a
Yeah.
good way to put it. Shuhei, not necessarily going off the deep end here, but certainly towards the deep end anyway.
Yes.
Water's a little deep, and it's real nice as
It's
well.
very,
it's
very nice to be
beautifully
Shuhei.
warm as
Yes.
well. He's swimming around very comfortably. Because this is a list that really does make the most of Pinnacle Emissary in a different way, in a way that we don't see out of the more traditional lists. A ton of zero-cost artifacts, very typical in the Izzet Affinity list, but combined here with weapons manufacturing. Incredible. An incredible innovation.
And the other innovation that really stands out to me here are the main deck copies of Tormod's Crypt, as well as the main deck copies of Engineered Explosives. And Explosives is going to be very good in this matchup because one of the things that Justin does not want to play against are cheap ways to manage his creatures. Now, his 1-mana spells, yes, there are things that Shuhei can blow up that cost 1 mana in his deck, but taking care of Dragon's Rage Channeler and Monastery Swissbearer are key. If Justin's trying to go the Corey Steelcutter Monk route, you have AE on 0 to kind of blow those up. So there's a lot of ways for Shuhei to interact with those main deck copies of Engineered Explosives that I think will give Justin some amount of difficulty.
And the fail case for this card is that it blows up a bunch of munitions tokens and just kills the opponent on the spot. So Shuhei has built a deck that just has a ton of game against a ton of different aspects of the format here. So a brief intermission here. Shuhei actually is in the process of asking for a bit of a takesies-backsies here.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by this. I haven't really seen this from Shuhei before.
Yeah, but I want to change to...
Yeah, he wants to make a different play. I guess I'll let him say it for us.
Nothing... You acknowledge this.
So it looks like the judges are conferring as to whether
You haven't done anything, right? I'm going to rule that he's allowed to back up this kind of thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Shuhei wants to back the turnip. I think
No,
the thing I
right.
think
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
trying to math right now is there a way for me to put Kappa Cannoneer on the
Yeah.
battlefield on turn 1?
So taking a moment here to think about it. We don't often see the takesies-backsies at the Pro Tour level.
No, we don't.
We do not. But Shuhei Nakamura here, he's gone through, he's crunching the numbers.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to figure out, okay, if I can play Kappa Cannoneer right now, I will. And so he's still just going to play Springleaf Drum, make a token. And then we might see Memnite make a token. But I think he ultimately comes up a little bit short.
Okay, Springleaf Drum tapped for mana here in order to play...
Looks like another drum.
Okay. Another drum. And then can play the Memnite and tap for another mana, but no, we're short. We're short of a Kappa Cannoneer.
Yep, now remember, another token's going to come on the battlefield here.
We're 1 mana short?
That is correct, I believe. So that's going to go back over in Exile.
To the Warp Zone?
I mean, it's still a very good turn. I mean, consider that this deck just put a bunch of mana on the battlefield, made 5 1-power creature that's basically 5 power on turn 1, which is not a thing that, really should be happening in Magic, perhaps, and passes the turn back with things to do on the following turn. And P.S., there's a counterspell at the ready in Metallic Rebuke.
Yes. So this is the power of the Affinity deck. This isn't even its final form.
No.
This isn't even its best opening salvo. So such is the power of Pinnacle Emissary.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah, I mean, think about the fact that on turn 1, Shuhei goes, all right, 5 power. On I'm going to counter your next spell.
Yes.
And then I'm play Kappa Cannoneer. That's my start.
Yeah. What do you got?
What are you going to
Oh, a
do?
1 mana 1/2. That's cool.
Yeah, oh, yeah, nice.
Oh, nice one.
Really good.
Oh, and a 2 mana 1/2 to follow it up with. Nice
Yeah,
one.
so that's getting countered.
Yep. Corey Steelcutter is not going to make the cut here, thanks to the Springleaf Drum. Metallic Rebuke having improvise.
And remember, even if there wasn't Kappa Cannoneer in hand, can still hardcast Pinnacle Emissary. So it's not like he's out of things to do.
Yeah.
And this is what makes this deck so powerful, is Pinnacle Emissary took this deck through the roof, alongside with the unbanning of Mox Opal.
Well, this was the other card that we have to give flowers to as well, because, it's just sitting there being like, what, am I a joke to you? Like, the only reason, and this might sound to newer players, this might sound like a bit of an exaggeration, but I can assure you, the only reason this deck is as powerful as it is Mox Opal.
Absolutely.
There is a
Absolutely.
reason that the Power 9, that 5/9 of it are cards like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to make 1 mana for 0 mana is unbelievably potent.
Yep.
It's so strong. Now, it pairs extremely well with the Pinnacle Emissary.
Yes, it
right?
does.
The Pinnacle Emissary brings the Mox Opal online as it is. But I can't I can't emphasize enough how important it is. You take Mox Opal out of the equation, this deck doesn't exist. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and you know what? Urza Saga is not a bad third card either, which was just found off a Thoughtcast. So, again, this start is completely ludicrous.
Yes.
I mean, this is absurd, what we're watching right now.
It's one of the very best ways for Izzet Affinity to open a game. We're looking at Justin Schabel on the other side of things. He has a lone Monastery Swift Spear, a Cory Steelcutter that has hit the bin because of that Metallic Rebuke. Shuhei Nakamura drawing more cards with Thoughtcast. There's Thought Monitor in the deck as well to keep the gas coming. Kappa Cannoneer closes out games real quick.
Yep.
Justin Schabel's going to have to pull something very, very special out of thin air here.
Yeah, this is going to have to be an unbelievable set of draw steps here for Justin to be able to get into this game right now because, you know, the one-for-one trading, but we're kind of done with that. I mean, a couple of creatures are certainly nice. This is where a card like Engineered Explosives, if it shows up, it actually looks quite good here to take care of all of those one-drops. Shuhei doesn't have it yet, but still has plenty of things to do.
He's drawing like a fiend, though, so if it's the card off the top, was that an
I think that was just the land, just the land.
No.
Yeah.
I was trying. I was doing my best. Come on. Come on.
If only. Though I don't even know if Shuhei technically even needs it to win this game.
No, but it'd be a nice little bow on this beautiful game that he's wrapped up here. All right, we might just see Pinnacle Emissary come in from the warp zone here. Yes, indeed.
That's going to trigger the Cannoneer, so that thing's not going to be able to get blocked here.
And as I said, Cannoneer ends games real fast, real quick. And it comes so hard to kill as well with Ward 4. Who gave it Ward 4?
Yeah, whoever did. A real troublemaker.
A troublemaker
That's
is
what
right.
I was saying, a real troublemaker.
Looking to make some trouble.
Yeah. Succeeded.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the only thing that Shuhei has to really think about here is, okay, I'm super far ahead. I have the ability to make constructs whenever I want with the Urza Saga alongside 2 Springleaf Drums and creatures. So now it's a question of like, okay, so how do I lose this game? What do I have to concern myself with as far as losing the game is concerned? I can play a little cautious. I can get a little aggressive, things like that. I mean, purposefully left back Kappa Cannoneer here on defense.
And this is another lesson. We've been doling out lessons to newer players, Cedric, today. And here's another lesson. Sit down, children. I'll tell you another very fundamental, a very, very important skill to learn. Not just when playing Magic, but playing games in general. The further you are ahead, the fewer risks you should take. The further you are behind, the more risks you should take.
I'm inclined to agree. And I think it's smart in a spot like this where Shuhei is extremely far ahead, and also the ability for Justin to catch up here is pretty slim.
So there's no need for Shuhei to overextend.
Yeah, he doesn't have to take on risk in a spot like this.
No. The game is well and truly going in his favor. All he needs to do is just play a natural game. Doesn't have to hurry, doesn't have to rush. Make some constructs. As a slick shot show-off.
Remember, making construct is going to trigger the Kappa Cannoneer because it's an artifact that enters the battlefield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. It's an 11/11 construct right now. I'm counting all the artifacts on the battlefield. Don't forget about the drums that are in the mana row, along with the Mox Opal that's hiding amongst the land. So Shuhei's doing the count. He's going to draw. Saga's going to go up to Chapter 3 here in just a moment. But first, he's going to float some mana.
Doesn't seem to be activating it for another construct. It's not going to be necessary.
That's game.
Because a Shadow Spear to give not just lifelink, but also trample is the important thing for Shadow Spear. And this means that blocking is just not an option for Justin Schabel between the Kappa Cannoneer becoming unblockable and the construct having trample. No amount of toughness is getting you out of this, bucko. And so we are going to game a number 2. Elegantly done by Shuhei Nakamura, who picks up a Game 1 victory. As we say, didn't take risks, knew what his line was going to be in the next turn, knew he didn't have to attack, overextend potentially with the Kappa Cannoneer, with a leave it on defense, make sure it can block. Not that he was going to be punished too heavily for doing that, but all the same, he knew he had the win locked up next round, so we move to game number 2.
Better safe than sorry. I like the play there from Shuhei. It looks a little strange when you have a large creature that's unblockable that you can get damage in with, but it wasn't about winning on that turn. It was about a couple of turns here, lock up the game, so there's really no way for Justin to be able to come back, and that's exactly what happened.
Cedric?
Talk to me.
Let's talk sideboards,
okay,
my friend. Huge part of Modern, of course, being the wide open, diverse format that it is. It's impossible to put together 15 cards that are going to be able to completely cover every base in Modern. But players do their best. As we cast our eyes over Shuhei Nakamura's list, in the sideboard, Emery, Vandal Blast, Consigned to Memory, Force of Negation, Galvanic Blast, Mystical Dispute, Grafdigger's Cage, Blood Moon. Galvanic Blast, great pickup here. Being able to deal 4 damage at instant speed for just 1 mana is really, really powerful. Metalcraft, not a difficult thing for this deck to achieve. Anything else jumping out at you here, my friend?
Galvanic Blast stands out the most. The Mystical Dispute single copy I could see coming in. I don't think it's a must, but I could certainly see it joining the fray. Nothing else stands out in a very meaningful way. Perhaps the Emery could come in, but the easiest one is Galvanic Blast, just to interact with the prowess creatures.
Monaster Swiftspear coming down here for Justin Schabel as we have a look at his sideboard. Murktide Region, Consigned to Memory, Spell Pierce, Spell Snare, Surgical Extraction, Unholy Heat, and Violent Urge.
I could see some number of copies of Unholy Heat coming in here. Potentially, I think Murktide Region might be an ideal thing to just be able to try to go over the top of things.
Yep, get a little bigger.
Yep, get a little bigger and just try to win the game in the air.
Yep.
Can't say for sure if anything really stands out. Like, I'm looking for cards like Fire Magic, excuse me, those cards would be very, very good in a matchup like this. We saw yesterday that happen, and that's unfortunately not the case here for Justin and his sideboard. Looks like a little light against Affinity this weekend.
What about a Spell Pierce?
It's okay. It's not my favorite. It's okay.
No. It's better than, like, I don't know, just a random burn spell.
I feel like a random burn spell is kind of mid, but also, like, if you're trying to just win the game in a racing fashion, those burn spells are going to be going upstairs and triggering prowess. Something that feels a little slow to me is something like Expressive Iteration.
I guess it depends on the posture you want to adopt, right? It depends if you're just going to go, okay, pedal to the metal, we're going to get this game over and done with. You don't want to dilute your deck by taking out the lava darts, the lightning bolts, what have you. Expressive Iteration allows you to stay on the front. Cutting the Expressive Iteration. For something like a Spell Pierce, it puts you further on the front foot, right? You want to be aggressive. You're going to draw a good hand. You're going to back it up with disruption, with pressure. So it depends on the posture that Justin wants to take here.
Yeah, it's tough because the drone tokens that are made, you would think that going to the skies is a way to kind of get around what Affinity is doing, but the drone tokens that are made from Pinnacle Emissary are tokens that can only block creatures with flying.
Yeah.
So a large Murktide Region could get blocked down for a very long time. So the tough thing here for Justin is it doesn't seem like there's anything clear to go to that solves the problem. Looks like Lava Dart is going upstairs. Okay. Now a copy of Corey's Steel Cutter.
So the pressure's on here. Is that a copy of Lava Dart from...
That's from Judgment.
Judgment?
Oh, yeah.
I knew it. You didn't even give me a chance.
I feel like I gave you plenty of time.
I did. You cut me off mid-sentence.
Loads of
Roll the tape. Roll the tape.
Were you playing Magic during Judgment?
No, man. No.
Hey,
Judgment came out in 2000. I was in year 8, man.
Yeah?
I was learning Pythagoras' theorem.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was playing Magic then.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
it is cool.
real cool.
It is cool.
It's a lot cooler than Pythagoras' theorem, actually. I have to give you that. I'm bagging you out for playing Magic while bragging about going to maths class in year 8. Yeah, sure. All right, good on me.
Magic was my form of math class.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, I've done a lot more. I've learned a lot more arithmetic from Magic the Gathering than I ever did from Dr. G.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you can miss me with sine and cosine.
Yeah.
But lava dart math.
I've never had
Prowess?
to trigonometrize a single thing.
Yeah, those are useful skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Shuhei start this game in comparison to last game much slower. We
Yeah.
saw a very explosive start, obviously, with Pinnacle Emissary. All that stuff on turn 1, turn 2 Kappa Cannoneer, turn 3 activates Saga, gets Shadow Spear, all that stuff. This is a much slower, much more interactive approach, but it's based off of the fact that he does have a copy of Urza Saga, which can start cranking out large constructs, which this red-based damage deck has some difficulty dealing with. Like a 4/4 construct is pretty tough. Multiples of them is actually quite difficult. So that's kind of the concern right now if you're Justin, is how am I going to work around a couple of constructs that are coming?
Yeah, just coming up the ground so effectively, and it's not hard for the affinity list to turn these constructs into absolute monsters.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're burning your lightning bolts, your mutagenic growths, just to try to get past these roadblocks, which is not what the deck wants to do. Shuhei's on 7. It's a good start for Justin, but he has to be able to follow through here. All right, Lava Dart.
So 3/3 and 3/2.
Yeah, and this is part of the reason. I know we were talking about the burn spells, leave them in, take them out, that sort of thing. I think the burn spells just going upstairs and triggering prowess alongside Corey Steelcutter. I think that's just the best avenue to victory.
Yes.
That's the way to steal out a game. That's the way I'm going to period aim for more bolts and just hope that I draw 2 or 3 copies a game.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think you want to dilute the game plan here. All right, so we're going to see a construct created. And then Ether Spell Bomb, but it's not enough.
Yeah, and Violent Urge, too. I mean, that's the really sort of fast start of I'm darting you, I'm bolting you, I'm Violent Urging you, I'm doing all these things to win the game as fast as possible. So now we've gotten a good taste of what it looks like from both players to be operating at kind of like peak efficiency, right?
Yeah.
You've got Justin's deck that can kill very, very quickly. It's very low to the ground with those 1-drops. And then you got Shuhei's deck that can have Pinnacle Emissary draws and kill you very quickly as well. So both players have kind of done their thing, and now we see what it looks like for Game 3.
A look at Justin Schabel's hand.
That was pretty good.
Holy moly.
So it's a lot of direct damage.
If you could stack your deck, if you could just choose your opening hand, I don't think it would look too dissimilar to this.
It's pretty close to this. I mean, this, especially on the draw, you know, maybe a Monastery Swiss Spear gets mixed in here in some way, but having DRC, you know, your hope is that DRC actually does live. Now, if I'm Justin, alarm bells are going off my head because you didn't play a Memnite, you didn't play a Drum, you didn't play a Mox, you didn't play a Pinnacle Emissary. You played a land and said go in a deck that has all cheap cards and is incredibly explosive. What does that mean you have?
Galvanic Blast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
I wasn't sure if that question was rhetorical.
Like, you either kept a very bad hand, in which case I'm probably going to win anyway, or you have a piece of interaction.
Yeah. All right, we go a searching with the Scalding Tarn. Surveil land here, Thundering Falls.
I sacrifice after you survive.
So we're going to see a Surveil here in just a moment, and then Justin is going to sacrifice after the Surveil does happen, as he did mention. And Shuhei's going to think about this a little bit. Now, yeah, this hand, Shuhei's hand is really, really slow.
Cap Cannoneer.
Yeah, I mean, this hand just kind of sucks.
It's actually kind of bad. And, ooh, this is not going to work. Mutagenic Growth in hand to save the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Of course, you'd rather that was doing an extra 2 points of damage to the opponent, but this is a protection spell here to save your creature. This is huge. Looking good for Justin, I have to say.
Yeah, no, this is actually great for Justin. And Justin actually does have second land plus Corey Steelcutter and then all 1-mana spells.
It's a fetch land as well.
Yep.
So it goes to the graveyard. It gets closer to Delirium. DRC is getting better and better here.
Yeah, this game's going to be... I mean, this matchup, the games end really fast anyway, but this game's going to be over, like, real fast. Like,
Justin Schabel could unseat a titan of the game here and be the first player at Pro Tour Edge of Eternities to lock up a top 8 slot.
Yeah, because now I'm in the mode of, okay, what's Shuhei's best draw? And the answer is not Mox Opal. The answer might just be a land, and I'm not even sure a land is particularly good. Like, the Kappa Cannoneers were so far away from those that those aren't very good. The weapons manufacturing and all that nonsense are really far away from that. Thawcast being castable a single mana, we're really far away from that. So I don't actually know what the best draw is.
So is that Delirium?
We have land, instant, artifact, and then there's another red card in the graveyard, which I believe is an instant.
18.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so we're just in attack for 1.
Because Shuhei put himself down at 16. I was like, I didn't think it was Delirium just yet.
Another copy of Galvanic Blast. It's just not lands. I mean, the interaction piece is kind of nice, but now it's a matter of, like, can you beat Corey Steelcutter and cheap spells every turn?
Okay, so the Dragon's Rage Channeler is gone before it can really have too much of an impact here.
Delirium now.
And that's relevant for the...
for the draw stuff?
For the Dragon's Rage Channeler that was just drawn.
Not bad, not bad.
All right, Lightning Bolt. Corey Steelcutter makes a token. But Violent Urge, also another Delirium card as well, giving double strikes. So that's going to be very important.
I mean, this game might end next turn. I think it's actually quite likely it ends next turn.
I think so. The Monk comes in here. And Justin passes.
I agree, yes. Okay, sorry.
There we go.
Just counting up the mana that was cast there. So, yep, because Scalding Tarn remains untapped. Shuhei not missing a trick here, but he is missing land drops.
Yeah, so he picked up a copy of Midnight, and he has a drum in hand. I mean, I don't think that saves him in any meaningful way.
No.
Yeah, Shuhei's hand was just really, really bad. It was. I think it was mull to 6, have a piece of interaction. Hope that it's not. Hope that things don't go too poorly. Things went really bad.
It was a mulligan to 6, Galvanic Blast, fetch land, right?
Yeah.
So you're either casting the Galvanic Blast on turn 1, or you're getting a Surveil land, which is going to help you find the second land. That didn't happen.
Ideally, yeah.
That didn't happen. Shuhei did not manage to pull this little plan together. And he's been punished pretty severely by it, with Justin Schabel having a ripper of a draw.
Yes.
Timed his cards really well. Mutagenic Growth in hand for the removal spell. Corey Steelcutter providing threats, another DRC off the top. Things have come up really, really well for the American, who is moments away, it would seem, Cedric, from locking up the first top 8 slot at this Pro Tour. A huge moment for him, if he can do it. Lightning Bolt. Dragon's Rage Channeler triggers here. Delirium should be online.
Oh, it's very much on. Very much on. Creature instant land artifact for Bauble.
So the Violent Urge.
Oh,
Mutagenic Growth as well. And congratulations to Justin Schabel, our first competitor making it into the top 8 here at Pro Tour Edge of Eternities. A huge moment for him. And a huge sigh of relief, a shake of the head for this young fella, who'll be very, very happy with that.
Probably a little mentally exhausted. Weirdly enough, I've been in a situation like that where it kind of just is like, is this happening to me right now? Like, I just beat a Hall of Famer that I probably watched play on camera for years and years and years to make the top 8 of a Pro Tour. You know, Justin had an interview with Ailey where he was just kind of like, I don't really know how this is happening to me. You know, I've been playing this deck for a very long time, but for all of this stuff to kind of happen to him and his deck to cooperate that well for that game, right, is just huge, right? We saw what Shuhei's deck is capable of in that first game of going absolutely nuts, and Justin's deck said, oh yeah? I can do a little something like that too, and he did that very much in Game 2 and Game 3.
Yep. A couple of rough bounces, we have to say, for Shuhei Nakamura.
Yeah.
Not much of a game for him, Game 3. Kept a hand that, you know, look, it was a fine keep.
Yep.
Had the land, had the piece of interaction, but Justin just running rings around him. And congratulations, making it to the top 8, our first competitor to do so this weekend. But Shuhei certainly plenty of chances down the road for him. Still on 11 wins, only needs 1 more to lock it up.
Yeah, one more with what, 2 rounds? Yeah, 2 more rounds left to play, I think. Yeah. So and again, it's a loss, yes, and Shuhei's first constructed loss for what it's worth. But I again believe that Shuhei has arguably the best deck in the tournament. If I told him coming into this Pro Tour, you got 2 shots to make top 8 with your deck, how do you feel about that? I think he'd say, you know, pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a bloke who's been around the traps. He knows how to win games of Magic.
Yep.
We'll see him in future rounds. Right now, however, we're going to take a break. We've got more Modern Magic coming your way from Atlanta before very much longer. So stick around, everyone. We'll be back with more from Pro Tour Edge of Eternities after this. Welcome back to coverage of Pro Tour Edge of Eternities here from Atlanta in the United States. It's great to have your company from MagicCon Atlanta, the home of Pro Tour here this weekend. Riley Knight's my name. I'm joined by Cedric Phillips. Cedric, you had a chance to stroll the floor out there on the convention and
I have.
Get around the traps?
I have. I got to do a walk around once yesterday, once today. We got loads of people here in Atlanta. Georgia World Congress Center. I've done many events here, so I always like being back in Atlanta. And normally when I come to Atlanta, I don't have 15, 16, 17,000 of my closest friends playing Magic. So to be able to see that has been awesome. MagicCons continue to be awesome. And I'm looking forward to walking around tomorrow and seeing some folks and then gearing up for the MagicCons that are coming next year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a great time. Haven't been to one, do yourself a favor, come along. I've been saying it each and every round. They're a good time. Speaking of a good time, we're going to head down to the feature match area and get stuck into our next match. I believe we're joining this one in game number 2. There's a face we've seen on the screen beforehand. This is, of course, Francisco Sánchez playing Azorius Control. His opponent also has been featured a couple of times playing Belcher. We've got Michael DeBenedetto-Plummer.
Not to me, we don't. Killer SUV.
Killer SUV?
That's a name.
Oh, boy.
That's a Magic Online screen name.
The old murderous sports utility vehicle.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a Mitsubishi Outlander with a grudge.
That's right. And right now, I mean, he's been destroying people this weekend.
2.4 liters of pure vengeance.
You better believe it. That's how we do it. It's an expensive ride, but it's been a good one here for Michael, who is beginning to make a name for himself this weekend. Teammates with Justin.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been a good time for Team Serious Players Only, which is one of the finest team names I've come across.
It's one of the better ones that I've heard over the years. And, you know, you can only be like that name can be ironic.
Yeah.
Because, like, you could be Team Serious Players Only and then lose really bad.
And
it's like,
deeply unserious
maybe we should
players.
be a little less serious.
Yes.
Or you could be Team Serious Players Only and put multiple people into the top 8.
Yes, in which case, well, we were serious the whole time.
Yeah, it's extremely serious.
Did you read the team name? It is exactly what it says on the team.
It says who we are and what we do and what we're about.
Francisco Sánchez also on a team of Spaniards, Team Pluto, I believe. Been doing very, very well as well.
Yes, these are two teams that when we come into this weekend, we think of the teams, we think of the various heavy play teams and Worldly Council and stuff like that.
Yep.
Team Channel Fireball, TCG player, all that jazz we've seen over the course of the past handful of years. Some players are starting to make a name for themselves and break through, and their teams are starting to break through as well, and that's always fun to see at the Pro Tour level. So the thing that stands out to me here in this particular matchup as we kind of zoom in on these two players a little bit is that for Michael, he's up a game over Azorius Control in a matchup that can be difficult sometimes. When I was walking the floor in between these past couple of rounds, I did see Azorius Control playing up against Belcher a couple of times. It was looking extremely hard for Belcher after sideboard.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if that's how this plays out in these next couple of games.
Well, let's talk about the sideboards here. Consigned to Memory, Mystical Dispute. There are plenty of options for the Azorius Control player to bolster what it's trying to do. Cards like Solitude not at their best in this sort of matchup, so you know you can shave some of them down. But the core gameplay role that the Azorius deck is attempting to position itself in this matchup is already very good against the Belcher glass cannon linear approach that this combo deck takes.
Yeah, so the thing that's really nice here if you are an Azorius Control player is Belcher is one of the better combo decks in the format. We all know that, but the thing we also know about Belcher is it gives you some time to kind of get set up. So if you were playing Azorius Control, especially if you're on the play, again, Belcher's a turn 4 combo deck. You know you're going to get at least 3 turns to play, 4 if you are on the play. So that means that my Planeswalkers that cost 3 mana, I can just cast one when I'm on the play because I'm not going to die the next turn. Kind of get a Teferi set up or a Narset set up, and then prepare to defend myself if the Belcher player is going to do their thing, right? So it's nice if you're Blue-White Control, which is a deck that wants to play a longer game anyway, to say, oh, I'm not like under duress in any meaningful way, which means I get some time to kind of dig my feet in and get my little house set up. And then when you try to do your thing, I should be prepared to take care of it.
Now, let's just take a moment to offer a moment of respect and sympathy for this Thundertrap trainer. It came in and revealed Flare of Denial.
Okay.
So just imagine how the Otter feels. Like when you flip the Flare of Denial that you're going to be sacrificed to, that's got to be a bad feeling.
All in a day's work.
the Thundertrap trainer, that's what it signed up for.
Oh yeah.
There's no complaints here.
Very aware.
It knew what it was getting itself into.
Yes. Extremely aware.
It's funny because when I put this card in my deck, it has a completely different set of rules text. It doesn't do what it says it does on the card.
No, what does it do?
It's
then?
a 2-mana 1/2. It says when this creature enters, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put them on the bottom of your library.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I
pass
see.
the
You
turn.
miss. I see. I see.
Every time, man.
Yeah,
without fail.
that's collected company for me. So I know your field.
Yeah, I've been doing it since Aurabolus, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. There's a card I would never cast. Oh my goodness.
No, of course.
Ugh.
It's got 1 power.
Yeah.
You love that. You love that.
Not for me. Cantrip, maybe? I don't think so. Now
Right.
this card though. Ugh.
Now this card. Now
Look at
here's
it.
a card. Let's
Yeah,
talk
look
about
at
this
this
card.
thing.
We got the M13 art. Can we
We
bring up
sure
the
do.
M? Was it M14? Excuse me.
Oh no, you're the Agarbolus person.
I'm the Aurabolus guy. Yeah. Imagine how disappointed I was when Thunder Trap Trainer got printed. Can never play this card again with a straight face.
Consult the Star Charts is a nice new addition. That is actually a card
babe.
I would play.
It's very, very good. This
That card's quite good.
very, very good. We've seen this cantrip card selection type slot argued over in these blue-based control decks. Some people played Opt. Some people played Consider.
Mm-hmm.
They're not very high-impact cantrips. They don't really give you the selection that you need. This deck isn't about velocity. It's much more about selection. So some people turn to memory damage,
Yep.
right?
At least they used to.
Well, they used to, but no, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Consult the Star Charts come out, just blows all these other cards out of the water. Why play anything else?
I think this one's just the best of the bunch, and it's something that this kind of strategy is needed for a little while.
It scales absurdly well.
Yeah.
You cast this in the late game, you're looking at 7, 8, 9 cards. This is dig through time.
yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
so good.
It's the Archaeologist. It's kind of Thunder Trap Trainer, the original, kind of the OG. Going to reveal some Tameshis. And see, that's more your speed there.
Yeah.
That's more your speed. Just completely whiff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Falaji Archaeologist, 1 and a blue, mill 3 cards.
Yeah, which, by the way, in this deck that has no lands,
Yeah.
its lands or spells, real tough. Real tough to do.
So Solitude has stayed in post-board, at least a couple of copies have. And it's going to exile that Archaeologist.
Yeah, the Solitudes that stay in are mostly for Tameshi.
Yes.
The fact that there's a little bit of splash damage and there's other creatures to kill, totally fine. Take care of this stuff. It at least starts to present a clock on the game. You're never going to get your life total high enough that Belcher doesn't kill you. That's not really realistic, but it's just nice to actually pressure the opponent a little bit.
So Francisco in this situation now is just never going to tap out, essentially. He is just going to make sure that he keeps mana up, represents counter magic, represents disruption, interaction, and puts Michael on notice, saying, hey, you didn't do the thing as early as you could.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make sure that you continue to not do the thing for as long as possible. So the longer this game goes on, the harder it's going to become for Michael to try to get himself in it, because the more options, the more leverage Francisco's going to have.
Yeah, I mean, just the easiest way that I kind of view this matchup is think of any combo deck historically against blue-white control. Do you want to play 15 turns against blue-white control when you're playing combo? No.
Do you want to play 15 turns against blue-white control when you're playing anything?
No.
No.
No, you don't.
No. Do you want to play 3 turns? 1 turn even? In your case, Cedric, I would imagine no.
It's not my favorite, but, I'm willing to make sacrifices.
You'll do it?
So when you
The sacrifice has been to your overall...
When you are playing Belcher, because you give your opponent some time, that means like when it's go time, it's got to be good, which means you got to have protection, like Flare of Denial and stuff like that. So this is kind of my concern for Michael. It's after sideboard, the bad cards and the bad cards that are bad, they're really bad. So like Prismatic Ending, horrible, almost certainly out of Francisco's deck. There are other creature removal spells. You mentioned Subtlety, Supreme Verdict. Like, those cards are so easy to take out, and the cards that you're bringing in, Consign, Mystical Dispute against the all-blue deck or mostly blue deck, it's such an upgrade that it's really hard to see how Francisco loses a sideboard.
Like, do you even bring in Surgical Extraction? Just so once
I think you can.
It's a bit fancy.
There's a little fancy play syndrome.
But like you get, look, there's a Belcher in the graveyard now, and you surgically extract that.
The game's over.
Yeah, well, you leave with a bunch of 1/2s and 1/4s they can try to win with, but the point is that it gets a lot better post-board. And we've talked about sideboarding in Modern. We've talked about how important it is. You look at the way that the Belcher deck tries to improve post, and it's got options. There's Force of Negation. There's cards that they can try to get a bit more juice out of in the sideboarded games, but I don't know. Look, I don't want to be too down on the Belcher deck. We've seen it do great things. It does have a lot of counter magic that it can bring to bear: Disrupting Shoal, Flare of Denial, Force of Negation, as we talked about. Jwari Disruption, technically speaking.
The one and only.
Yeah. So it can try to put together these board states where it's able to contest the blue-white control. Oh, no, sorry, not a board state. It can try to sculpt a hand that can go toe-to-toe. But the longer you try to spend sculpting the hand, the worse things are going to get because Francisco Sánchez is just better at sculpting his hand.
Well, he's doing the same thing too.
But
Right?
better.
If you're sculpting, I'm also sculpting, and the things that I'm sculpting with are better than what you're sculpting.
Exactly.
That's the big thing.
Consult the start charts.
Yes.
NAS it.
Yes.
You know.
It's just a really tough situation here for Michael. Like, Michael has to do things that involve Lotus Bloom and generating a lot of mana, I think, to be able to overcome some things here. Another reason that you do leave Solitude in is because it kills blue creatures and less blue creatures to sacrifice to Flare of Denial.
True.
So that's a reason to kind of have that card in. But again, the longer the game goes, I think the worse, generally, most of the time, it's going to go for the Belcher player, which is Michael in this situation. And it's just very hard. It's just very hard.
With these players both at 10 wins, whoever wins this round will move on to a win and in match next round. Here's Tameshi. See what Francisco has to say about that. So while we're not quite at win and in Magic stage for these two,
No, we're close.
we're getting close to it, and one of them will be playing a win and in next round.
Yes.
Assuming this isn't a draw, of course. There
Yeah.
have been a lot of draws.
Which I was going to say, don't assume that, because there have been quite a
There's
few
been
draws
a lot
in
of
this
draws.
tournament.
We've got a couple of XX3s.
I was going to say, there's at least one player that has.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if
I've
it's
seen a
multiple.
couple too. Sean
Okay.
Henry and Magic Zone Seth Manfield
Okay.
as well. At least 3 draws. I went 2-0-4 at a game day event. Back in the day, blue-white control in standard during Theros. Yep, just the number of times I cracked an elixir of immortality. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, were you having fun?
I was.
Okay.
I was quite happy. I walked away from that tournament bragging about my undefeated
I did not
record.
lose.
I didn't lose a single game.
That is true.
How'd you go?
did not.
5-1? Oh, okay. Well, can't win them all, I
Yeah.
guess, you know.
A little bit of a blemish on that record.
Not that I won them all. Well, I'd say
What you
two
did,
of
you
it was a lot of
you
players.
didn't lose any of them.
Didn't lose them. That's a true statement. All right, this Tameshi is going to be hit by a counter spell. There's that Flare of Denial, which we knew was in hand. Thunder Trap Trainer, we salute you. Thank you for your service.
It's time to interact. To me, this is kind of the go turn.
Yeah.
Now, how far are we going to go? I'm not entirely sure, but this is all right, I'm going to burn one of my real counter spells in Flare of Denial to fight over this Tameshi. Presumably, if Tameshi gets onto the battlefield, it's going to generate a lot of mana. That combo with Lotus, with the Lotus to be able to generate enough mana to Char Belcher Francisco. I think this is the game plan, and this is the go turn.
So this is Francisco Sánchez recognizing, okay, I have to deal with this card. This Tameshi is too much of a threat. And so cracks a fetch land, finds a basic plains, and we'll see what the follow-up here is. It's going to be a Consult the Star Charts. Now, this will get a good old look here at the top 7. It's not kicked, so we only get one card.
It will get a good look, we agree. But this is a little notable that Francisco hasn't been doing anything. We don't have a great look at Francisco's hand, but Francisco hasn't really been doing anything. So the fact that this is a Consult not kicked with Tameshi, like with the Flare Denial counterspell stack that we're seeing here, means that his hand might be a little bit soft. It's not a lock that it's soft, but it might be a little soft.
Do you know what I think is happening here? I think he's got a Force of Negation in hand, and this Consult the Star Charts is going to tell him whether he wants to hardcast it or not.
Okay.
Or if he wants to find maybe another piece of counter magic off the top, have the Force pitch it to cast it for free, and then have another piece of counter magic to back it up in case Michael has got another piece of interaction. So, for instance, if he finds a counter spell here, right?
Which
I think that was the card brought to the front of the options. That we haven't got the best view of the hands here. We do apologise. A little bit of speculative work here from us in the booth. I did see
Francisco's keeping
it
close to the chest.
Close to the chest, very literally. He's having a good old think about this as well. So just to recap here, we have a Tameshi on the stack. A counterspell is targeting the Tameshi. The Flare of Denial is targeting the counterspell. And on top, sitting pretty on top of this stack right now, in the middle of being resolved, is this Consult the Star Charts. Looking at the top 7. So there's a Force of Negation, 2 Teferis.
Yep. I mean, there's some goodies in there.
Are those mystical disputes as well? There's two cards, two identical cards hanging out.
Yeah, 2 disputes up front.
2 disputes, yeah.
At least one, let me say that.
Oh, maybe the second one.
Yeah. It's forced dispute, maybe it's stern scolding. Again, not going to speculate too much, but look, end of the day, there are some good cards to choose from among those 7. Only get to take one, as you did mention, partner. It's just what's the one going to be, and it looks like it's going to be forced negation. At least that's the one that Francisco has set down. Also worth noting, not a lot of room for error here for Francisco. Currently down a game. Deck takes a long time to win. Already has a draw.
Oh, sorry. My mistake.
Oh,
He's
right,
my
okay. Yeah, he's not, the counterspell hasn't been counted. So we've still got the force of negation here, which is going to be added to the stack. Pitching a Lorien Revealed.
Correct.
So the stack right now, from bottom to top, Tameshi, Counterspell, Flare of Denial, Force of Negation. This is, as you put it before, Cedric, the go turn.
Yeah. What's also notable about all of this, too, is that let's say that Francisco wins this battle of counterspells. None of these cards are the cards. None of these cards are Goblin Charbelcher. None of these cards are the card that Michael would win with. Right? So we're having a fight over Tameshi, which in and of itself is scary because of the amount of mana generation it has. Here's a Flusterstorm.
Ooh, that's a big one here because we've
How
had
many
a
are they?
lot of spells cast.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So Flusterstorm with a storm count of 6.
But this is all an attempt to push through Belcher. So remember, Force Negation is going after Flare of Denial. Counterspell is going after Tameshi. So if Force Negation now resolves on Flare of Denial, nobody cares because the Counterspell will be taken care of by Flusterstorm.
So Force of Negation resolves.
Oh, this is pretty gross. There's a dispute.
And there's a mystical dispute in hand anyway.
But there's 2 mana floating
Yeah.
from the sacrifice
And a
of the
third mana there,
Lotus.
so we
And
can
the
just
third
cast it.
mana
Oh
there.
my
Yep.
goodness. Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
So Tameshi is through, but Tameshi can't go active.
Can't go active, but there is a Lotus Field. Let's not forget, there is a Lotus Bloom in the bin.
Correct.
Yeah.
But now this is the opportunity. This is the window to kill the Tameshi.
And at least it can be bounced. There is a Teferi in hand for Francisco. So across comes the Solitude.
This could also be.
22, I'm at 9.
Oh boy, this you can get a little unique here. This could be maybe play Teferi, bounce Solitude potentially.
Oh, just to get it out.
Well, no, bounce your Solitude and then Solitude the Tameshi.
No, that's what I'm saying. Just
Yeah.
get rid of the Tameshi once and for all.
Wait.
Yeah, because and
Yeah.
that's why we see maybe a little bit of a pause here of just like.
Because if he picks up the Tameshi and then Michael next turn just goes, all right, cool, play it
Yep.
again, and if you don't have an answer, like if
you
you're
can get
relying on drawing an answer from the Solitude hard cast once again, so that's just a safer line to take. Although it does expose you to whatever Michael has left in hand and what's on top of the library here.
Correct, and remember, the Tameshi was the thing we were fighting over. The Belcher is the card that is scary,
And there it is.
and so now you need an answer to the Belcher.
Yes.
Now, not dead yet, but this is the ultimate. You better deal with this right now, or the game is over.
Okay, I think it was a Hall of the Storm Giants that was drawn there off the top. The D&D art. Upstairs goes to Ferry. Now, I don't know what answers he's going to have here. Gets in for 3 with Solitude. Guy reached Sanitarium there potentially to dig a little further. I'm very impressed with the way that Michael has put just endless pressure on his opponent here. Waited
He's done
for
a
that
very,
time.
very nice job.
Well, we talked about how the longer it went, the more favored Francisco was, but Michael was sculpting. He was in the process of sculpting this hand,
Yep.
finding the tools that he needed. A very difficult job, as we said, against Blue-White Control. But all right, we can have Guy reach Sanitarium now. Draw discard, both players. Got to find something.
Remember, if a Teferi does show up, it can bounce a Belcher because it can return to one target artifact, creature, or enchantment.
Yes.
So that's a solve.
Okay. Discards a land here.
This is 4 mana.
4 mana.
Okay, Otawara. Yep, that's a
Okay.
That's a solve.
Bounce that. All right.
Interestingly, I think that Otawara should have cost 3 mana.
Oh, because there was
because
a
there's
Teferi.
a Teferi on the battlefield.
That's
Yep,
true,
there's
yeah.
a land. Boom.
Okay, it's
Kaboom!
enough. Wow, so Michael DeBenedetto-Plummer here takes it out in straight sets, 2-0 against Francisco Sánchez. Super impressed with the way he played that game. We sort of lined up how difficult this task was against an interaction, disruption-heavy control deck. But what Michael did, he completed that very difficult task that we said he had to, right? He sculpted a hand that was going to be able to fight through the disruption that the control player was going to bring to bear. And then he executed really well, using all the resources at his disposal, being able to pay for the Mystical Dispute when that was put onto the stack after that flurry of counterspells. Full credit to Michael, played an absolute blinder.
I think he played a great game, and I think he did a really nice job of picking a spot of when to go for it. Right, that's the big thing, because you can kind of get yourself in situations of I'm going to keep waiting, giving your opponent too much time, because you want to give yourself some more time to do some more sculpting. But I think the thing that he did a really nice job of saying, okay, I have found my situation where I think it's time to go for it. I believe I have enough protection to kind of make an attempt at this. And Flusterstorm was the big protector in all of it, right? So we saw the exchange of I'll play Tameshi, all right, you're going to interact with me, because if you don't, you're dead, right? So I'll play Tameshi, okay, you interact back with me, a counterspell. Okay, well, I have Flare Denial, which we kind of knew was face up, so I'm going to counterspell back. And you know that exchange is going to take place, right? Just kind of on both sides.
But like
it's pretty clear.
both players are going to understand that exchange is like, it's guaranteed.
Yes.
You're not going to have 0 counterspells sitting there as an Azorius control player.
Correct.
So we can assume that is safe. Yes.
So now the question is, what's the next exchange going to be? And Michael said, okay, well, I've come really prepared with this Flusterstorm, which I think is going to kind of beat everything you're trying to do. And again, that entire fight is over exactly Tameshi, which if Tameshi resolves, it's very bad news for Francisco. But if Tameshi doesn't resolve, and it ultimately got managed by Solitude, cool, that card's not Goblin Charbelcher.
No.
So you actually didn't solve the actual problem, and then it became a game of, all right, I'll play Charbelcher. I can't kill you now, but like if I get to untap, you lose, and ultimately Charbelcher won the game.
You can bounce it. You can bounce with Teferi, you can bounce with Otawara, but I know you don't have a bunch of like hard removal spells for this 4-mana artifact.
Correct.
Right? So that's the difficult thing.
Yep. So we kind of fought over a card that, like, I don't want to say didn't matter, because obviously Tameshi does matter, because it's mana generation, what's going on there, and that's, again, what makes the Belcher deck really attractive for players in this tournament of, yes, it's a turn 4 combo deck, it's this weird mono blue deck with all these weird lands that are going on. It's very easy to just think like, yeah, I know exactly what your deck does, so I can figure out the best way to interact with it, but they wouldn't play that deck if it didn't have some resiliency built in, which very clearly just demonstrated it does.
As we say, Michael played an absolute blinder, but the good news is we've got more Magic to show you. We're going to head back down to our feature match area to check in now with Noah Offman and Luis Salvatto. Both these players at 9 and 4, still in with a sniff at the top 8, you would think, if they can stitch together some wins here, and they'll be hoping to do so right now as we head down and see how things pan out between these two. I believe we're jumping into, I think it's game 3. I'll wait for confirmation on that, but I think we're heading into, yes, indeed, game number 3 between these two players. So let's have a look at what they're playing and have a chat about how it might shake out here. Luis Salvatto, some people may be familiar with this bloke and the work that he does. He's on Eldrazi Tron, whereas Noah Offman on Simic Neo form, Neo brand, some call it.
Once upon a time.
So Cedric, just back of the envelope, what do you think of this matchup, and can you characterize it for us in 50 words or less?
Given a word count? Okay.
You're wasting precious words on addressing the word count.
You are correct. Well. We're down to 44. I think this is a good matchup here for Simic Neo form. Very all-in combo deck against a deck in Eldrazi Tron, which does not have the most interaction. Now, the big question is what is the build of Eldrazi Tron that Salvatto is working with here, right? That's the biggest question of what kind of interaction is there in the main deck, in the sideboard, all that jazz.
So we've got the classic 4, Khan the Great Creator. Gone is Khan liberated from these Tron lists.
Oh yeah, it's 2025.
Ugin, 7-mana Ugin. Look, this is Eldrazi Tron. It does play Devour of Destiny, Emrakul, Kozilek's Command, All is Dust, that sort of thing. But it's not the again, I don't like always saying it. Would you describe this as a stock list here?
I mean, stock-ish. The thing about this particular Pro Tour is it's hard to say if there are any stock lists for the Eldrazi.
Yeah, that's what.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're seeing more blue in this for Portent of Calamity, where some players aren't playing that card. Salvatto is, and I believe also Javier Dominguez is. So we got the Tron lands, we got Eldrazi Temple, we got Ugin's Labyrinth, we got a lot of big mana stuff, a handful of Talismans as well. very artifact-centric deck. So, and then I think some of the appeal here might be Consign in the sideboard. Wouldn't surprise me if that's hanging out there because that card's so darn popular this weekend. But actually, that turns out more artifacts in the sideboard.
We've just got a Khan board. It's just a 15. It's 15 one-ofs in the board. Anyway, we have a look now at Noah Offman's list here. He is playing with Consigned to Memory, of course. 4 copies in the main deck.
Yeah, no surprise there.
That little package there, the package, if you will. And that's already taken care of a Trinosphere. You can see Expedition Map has enabled trying to get online for Luis Salvatto.
It appears to be go time.
Yeah, exiling 2 copies of Neoform to cast the Allosaurus Rider, a 3rd one there to turn the Allosaurus Rider into Gristlebrand.
Yeah, what this does, like what this deck does, Neoform, against Eldrazi, it just puts a lot of stress on for Eldrazi to have kind of like a perfect draw. Like you need to have 4 mana on turn 2 or have Tron on 3, because though this Neoform deck is a bit of a glass cannon, it is very good at doing this one thing uninterrupted. And it is doing its thing uninterrupted.
Because it's not getting interrupted. Now, the Gristlebrand comes down, draws a bunch of cards. Noah Offman's obviously very happy about that. If Luis Salvatto untaps and just plays Ugin and exiles Gristlebrand, where does that leave us?
I mean, probably not in a great spot here for Salvatto, or excuse me, for Offman.
Yeah, right?
That's my best guess. I don't think that it's over, but also there are 3 Neoforms that are gone.
Gone.
Yeah, so this could be a difficult spot.
Now, there's still presumably Eldritch Evolution, 4 of, in this Simic Neoform deck, so it's not just all over. But nothing, no. Luis Salvatto just stone cold nothing here.
It's like the stick meme. Do something. Do something.
I thought you were going to say the stick meme of Luis Salvatto putting the stick between the spokes of his
no,
bicycle.
No, not that one. Not that one.
I was going to say it's not that dire.
Yeah. You need to do something.
Oh, what other stick memes are there? Slide it. No, we'll leave that. We've got our mileage out of that one for the day.
Oh.
All right, Gristle Daddy still on the battlefield here as an 8/8, thanks to the +1/+1 counter gifted to him by Neoform. And Magic's most disrespected demon is about to get some work
that's
done.
what it is. Yeah,
All right.
no respect for Gristlebrand.
Name a demon that has had to suffer more disrespect in Magic the Gathering.
What's the... I'm not a Vorthos, unfortunately.
No.
Give me a moment. I'll think of one.
He's going to think of one. He's going to come
will.
back to us.
Gotcha. The good night.
Down to 1.
All right,
Okay.
Allosaurus Rider here. Exiling Generous Ent and Hooting Mandrills. Hooting no longer.
Hootie. There's the 4th Neoform. And we knew there was one left.
Yes.
This is...
And a
Oh, this is probably Xenagos.
Act. Oh, right, to get the Xenagos. Right, yeah.
That's my guess.
Yep, so you
Oh,
get
wait,
the
what?
gold.
Oh, Galt?
Okay, so you get the gold. Whoa. Let's rewind a little bit
Okay.
there and explain what happened, because that was lightning fast.
Green team.
So, you play the Neoform, you get the Golter,
Yeah.
right? You play the Neoform. In response to that, you play the Pact of Negation to get a Xenagos and put it in your hand. When the Golter comes into play, because of the Neoform, the Xenagos is already in your hand, so you can put it into play with the Golter's trigger,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you're probably around the world going like, oh, well, that's all very well, Riley. Thank you for that concise explanation. What about the pack trigger? How is he going to pay for that next turn?
Oh, well,
my friend, there is not going to be a next turn with Xenagos on the battlefield.
That's you know, like I said, that's pretty adorable.
Yeah.
I kind of like all that nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, Simic Neoform is a complete nonsense deck. So if you're gonna do some nonsense, really crank it up.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Commit to the nonsense.
Also, that matchup, I think, is just horrible for almost all builds of Eldrazi Tron.
Yes.
Obviously, Salvatto did nothing that game. That's not normally how it goes, but I just think, in general, it's just not a good matchup.
No, for sure. You need interaction. You need to be able to leverage it early. You need to be able to disrupt this glass cannon, shatter it with a well-placed blow.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened for Luis Salvatto. That's going to do it for coverage of this round here at Pro Tour Edge of Eternities. Riley Knight, Cedric Phillips stepping out of the booth to make way for Marshall and Paul. But I believe we'll be heading back to the news desk for updates, down dates, and sideways dates as well. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back from Atlanta before very much longer.